Hi there guys, it's the Disappointing Weeb here, coming to you from my shaky handheld camera, and today I wanted to show you my anime figure collection. Now, I'm doing this mainly because Cospunk, one of my friends, and I had a really good discussion this week about the OneFest 2021 figure releases. So if you want to check that out, that will be in the description and you can look at that on her channel. But before you do that, please join me to look at my anime Nendoroid prize figure Gundam figure collection. Okay, so first of all I want to start off by looking at some of my Nendoroids. So I've got 3 shelves of Nendoroids, I've got 11 of them altogether. Not a very big Nendoroid collection, but it's something that I'm definitely trying to build up more, and it's something that I've got more pre-orders for coming soon. So starting on the left we have Nezuko from Demon Slayer. Really nice Nendoroid, comes with a really large base, so you can put Tanjiro on there as well. Doesn't come with many accessories, but still an Nendoroid I'm glad I picked up. Next we have Ichigo from Bleach, who comes with Kon. Again, nice Nendoroid. Ichigo's one of my first that I bought, along with Kirito next to him. And both of those are from Forbidden Planet, so I spent way more than I should have done on them. Next we've got Kirito on the right. He's quite an old Nendoroid. I think he looks fine still though. I've always struggled posing him. I did have him posed at one point in the air, kind of slicing down. But one of the difficulties with him is that he's quite heavy. And the stand isn't always very good at holding him up, so I've got him stood normally just for safety really at the moment. On the right of Kirito we've got Yu-Gi-Oh from Sword Art Online Alicization. This Nendoroid's actually my wife's, but she likes to keep it in here so it's next to Kirito. I actually think it's a really nice Nendoroid. I think this rose motif on the bottom looks really great, and I think it's probably one of the better looking Nendoroids that we have. Below those Nendoroids we've got first some little blind bag bleach figures that I just keep in here to stop them getting dusty. Then we've got a Len Nendoroid from Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online. This is actually one of my favourites for accessories. It comes with loads of stuff, comes with 3 different guns, it comes with knives. It's a really nice little Nendoroid. Next to Len we've got probably my favourite Nendoroid, which is this Amelia Nendoroid from ReZero. The thing I really like about this Nendoroid is that it comes with 2 separate costumes. It comes with her normal outfit, and it also comes with this really nice poncho from, I think it's Memory Snow, one of the OVAs. I really like the Puck edition in this, and the stand that allows Puck to be flying next to her. This is probably one of my favourite ones. It's also a really hard one to come by as well, and I think it's going up in price more and more. That, the Nezuko, and this Nagisa Nendoroid are probably my most expensive. So Nagisa is the one that I spent the most on, who's here, and she's from Clannad. Nagisa, I think, has only been produced once or twice, so she's really expensive. I paid, I think, about £90 for her, including shipping from Japan. But when I've looked on eBay, she can be going for up to £200 now. Same with Amelia and Nezuko, I think they're all around £150 to £200 now. Next is my first Nendoroid, which is this Diva Academy version Nendoroid, and I got her as well from Forbidden Planet. After buying 3 from Forbidden Planet and then seeing the prices online, I decided probably best to not buy any more from there, unless I see anything I really want. I like this Nendoroid because it comes with a little mech. I probably wouldn't have bought it again if I had the option now. That's probably one of my regret buys, but I'm really glad I bought her to help me get into the hobby. On this bottom shelf is my Haruhi figures, I guess, or at least some of them. This is just a little blind box Haruhi here. So she's there. I think I got her from a convention probably about 10 years ago now. These 3 Nendoroids are the only really old Nendoroids I own. These are the Haruhi Suzumiya, Mikuru and Yuki Bunny Girl sets. And they come on these old round bases. And what I would say is, although this is a really nice set, and I got it really cheap, I think it was about £20, maybe a little bit more, maybe 30. But the difficulty with these Nendoroids is that they are just so hard to keep standing. All it takes is one nudge and they fall straight over. I have them on the bottom shelf just because if this does get knocked and one of them falls over, at least then they're not going to be falling from too high a distance. But they also are really nice, and I'm glad to have some older Nendoroids in my collection. One thing I'm not very glad to have is this Figma here. So this is a Figma of Ryoko Atakura, also from Haruhi, and this was the first and last Figma I ever bought, and I just really think Figmas are just really ugly. I just think that the joints on them are just not great. This is a really old Figma. This Figma's also well over a decade old, but it was enough to put me off buying Figmas for a while. If I see anything that I really like, I might buy it, but Ryoko has been my first and last Figma in my collection. Guarding my Nendoroid collection is this absolutely gigantic All Might. This is a Grandista All Might figure, and it comes in two different versions. It comes in this version, which is the standard edition, and it also comes in like a manga art version, which is much more detailed and more kind of stylized. This was a really cheap figure. I think it was £30 to £40 from Forbidden Planet, which again, you're going to be paying more from there. Definitely got quite a lot of flaws, but for something this big, I mean, you can't really go wrong at that price. And I just thought it was a really nice looking figure, especially the face sculpt. I really like the face on it. So that's the All Might Grandista figure. Next up, we're going to look at my Gundam figures. I'm going to do this a little bit quicker because I'm holding free hands, so it'll be a little bit shaky. But there's a Gundam here from Build Fighters. This is a Thunderbolt Gundam from Gundam Thunderbolt, really good manga series. Barbatos from Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, probably my first venture into the Gundam series, I think. A really, really bad RX-78 there. A bear guy. There is a Build Strike Gundam from Gundam Build Fighters as well, another bear guy. I think that's a Strike Freedom Gundam from Gundam Seed. I forgot what this is called. This is a mobile suit from Iron Blooded Orphans. Same with just behind there in blue. This isn't a Gundam. This is, let me focus. This is a mech from a video game called Daemon X Machina. The video game was really, really mid, but the figure is really nicely detailed. You can see all the kind of dirt scuff marks on there, the rust on the joints. Really, really nice figure. At the back there we have a Zaku. So I bought this Zaku after watching Gundam Origin, Advent of the Red Comet, which is probably my favourite Gundam series up to now. A more standard RX-78, which is the kind of original Gundam. And behind there, there's a really, really old glue, a kit you have to glue together, if it focuses, that I bought just because I really wanted to experience building one of the older kits as well. To avoid too much shaking, I'm going to bring the rest of the figures down here to look at. So these are my Demon Slayer Banpresto figures. These are really, really popular. I've seen these in loads of people's collections. Probably because they're really cheap. They're about £20 each. And I think for the price, they look pretty nice. Obviously, they're nothing to shout home about. They've got a few paint blemishes. But I think they're pretty nice figures, especially for the price. Next up, we've got this Deku prize figure. And this is one from the latest movie. You could also get the villain in this set as well. I really like this figure because it comes on this really tall stand. So he's kind of doing a flying attack, which you don't tend to get with many figures. This figure is also a Bandai figure, and it's still got the label on the box, so I can tell you this figure cost me £24, which I think is probably okay for something like this. Again, these figures here are all figures that I bought from bricks and mortar stores in the UK, so you do expect to pay a little bit more when you are paying for something that you get straight away. Next up, we've got this Megumin figure. Now, I bought this figure actually because I saw it on the Trash Taste podcast, and I really, really like the look of it. And luckily for me, it was also really, really cheap. It was a prize figure. This is a Sega one, and it's got some really nice features. It was very difficult to attach this hand here. The staff's attached to the hand, and you have to really force it in to make it stay in place. I really like the addition of the hat being removable, which I think is a nice touch. And there's also the cat in the middle here, so that's quite cool as well. This was also within the kind of under £30 budget range. Next up we have this Sega Prize Hatsune Miku figure. Now, I bought this as my first prize figure. I bought this well over 10 years ago. And one of the things you can see in this prize figure, it might not pick it up too well on the camera, is actually the sun bleaching which has taken place on the hair. Now, that's because I left this in a windowsill, which isn't very smart, and it faded very quickly. While I'm showing you this, I'll probably also show you the other figure which felt the wrath of the weather, which is this Ulquiorra bleach figure. And as you can see, it's now a Michael Jackson figure. So from the heat, his legs have bent and he now leans forward like this at all times. So I guess I could put him on my top shelf and he could always be looking down on me, but unfortunately he's just sort of sucks now. So that's him. Next up, I think, is my only scale figure. Now this is a Haruhi figure, obviously, in a Buddy Girl outfit. I bought this because it was cheap, but I didn't realise it was cheap because there was some damage to the stockings down here. Even so, I think it probably looks fine. And in my collection, I'm not really going for crazy expensive figures, so this definitely serves the deal of being a nice Haruhi figure that I can put in my collection. Next up is this Pop-Up Parade Weathering With You figure. I really like the Pop-Up Parade range. I think that they're really nice, affordable figures that also look really, really good. I like the fact that Good decided to depict also a really iconic piece of art rather than just being kind of generic figures. So this is a really nice figure, and it's a two-part set, of course. They come separately, but these are probably two of my favourites in my collection. Next up is a really grotty figure, but something I was desperate to have. It's this Nagisa figure from Clannad. Now, I bought this pretty much exactly as you see it, covered in all this horrible dirt that I can't get off, and also missing the hair. But I was so desperate to get a Clannad figure, and they've become so hard to get a hold of that I decided I'd rather just get anything rather than nothing. This was before I got the Nendoroid. But then recently, while on eBay, from a charity shop stall, I managed to find this, which of course you can see has got a very similar base, and it's also a Nagisa figure. I think one of the things about these figures is they definitely show how anime figures have improved since these kinds of figures were released, but I'm still really glad to have just some Clannad merch in my collection. So I ran out of space on my desk, so I decided I should probably just bite the bullet and start dragging you along with me onto my shelves. So I've left my camera somewhere rested, so I've not got to deal with my shaky hands, but we'll have a look at what we've got on these shelves. First of all, we've got this, which is a Domo vinyl. Domo was a really, really popular thing back in kind of 2006, maybe, something like that. And Tokyo Pop actually released a really small little manga for him as well, but we've not really seen anything of him since, but he's still a really cool little dude that I can keep here. Next up, we've got some ReZero Ichibansho figures. I really like these. I think that they look really, really good. They're also Ichibansho, so they're really cheap figures. I really like the cute little puck, which I don't know if you can see. I'll just grab him. Yeah, I really like this cute little puck as well that comes with it. So these figures are based on fairy tales, and there are a couple of different variants of them. I know you can get the Rem with a white kind of coat on rather than a dark black one, but this is how I've got them, and I think they look really nice pushed together as well. Next up, we've got my newest figure that I did an unboxing for on this channel, and it's this Asuka Langley figure from Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. If you want to see more about this figure, please look at my channel. There is an unboxing and a review for this figure. Behind Asuka, you start to see a few of the more degenerate figures, I guess. We've got these two kind of armoured Asuna and Alice's, and they're both prize figures as well. I think these are both Banpresto. The Asuna's very good at holding a sword, while the Alice drops a sword whenever anything happens at all, which is an absolute nightmare to keep finding. Behind this Kirito, which we'll look at in a minute, is another Asuna as well. There's sort of a beach Asuna here. This is a regret buy. I thought it was nice at the time, but the more I look at it compared to all my other figures, I sort of think to myself, it's got a really derpy face, and it's something I'll probably get rid of in the future. Just to the side of them is this Rem figure, which I actually really like. I think it's a nice little happy Rem figure. The base is really nice as well. The base has got this kind of beach motif. But I actually really like this Rem figure. I think it's quite nice. Next we move on to this, which is a Kirito Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet figure. And you may be thinking to yourself, this figure looks really, really dusty. But as you can see, no, it's just got this really weird kind of pale effect on it. One of the things about this is I just think it doesn't look very good. And it was very expensive as well. I think this was like 50 quid, which is a lot more than I normally spend on my figures. I don't think the face sculpt's very nice. And I just think it was a poor choice buying this figure. So just to round things off, I just want to share with you these Bleach figures, which I bought when I was really, really young, probably about 13, 14. And these were the first figures I ever bought. These are more kind of like action figures, I guess. They're posable. But I think that they really also illustrate just how different figures are now compared to the Nagisa from Clannad and these figures, which were what we were used to back in the golden age of anime, I guess. But there's just some Bleach figures here. We've got Rukia, we've got Chad, we've got Ichigo, Renchi, and Orihime. There's also this Ichigo plush here, which just kind of sits there now. So I hope that proved interesting to some of you. I'm sorry that my figures are pretty dusty. I'm pretty bad when it comes to keeping them clean. But please subscribe, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be doing a full manga collection video as well. See you later, guys.